So if you work in industry, the way that things are organized is slightly different maybe to an academic group where typically you'll have groups that perform different functions. So you might have a group that makes protein, a group that runs screens, or a group that discovers antibodies, etc. And what tends to happen is that as you progress through your career, you become more and more expert in one particular function. So I was a in vitro pharmacologist. So basically I was running effectively screening assays for antibodies of small molecules. And so I think I learned, a lot about interpreting assay data, about mechanisms of compounds, about classical receptor pharmacology, but I didn't know how to make a protein. I didn't know how to crystallize a protein. I didn't know how to discover an antibody. I didn't know how to do any of those things. So quite often you'd be in meetings and you would hear people talk about what they were doing, and you would almost, or I used to anyway, I used to feel a bit in awe of these people who could crystallize proteins or could discover antibodies or could do all of these types of things. And when I was given the opportunity to do the PhD, I was quite late in my career actually. So I did my PhD when I was 34, 35, I think. And by that point, I was a principal scientist. So I'd already progressed relatively high, or reasonably high, I suppose, in the organization. But I didn't feel that I had a very good breadth of knowledge. I was very good in a specific area. And I think doing the PhD, the thing I think two things really: broadening my practical understanding of different processes, different areas of biology, but also I think just about resilience. You're just doing a big project on your own. You're working independently, and things go wrong, you have to suck it up, and all these kind of things. So I think those have been the two things. And I actually had, I think when I started my PhD and I spoke to friends and stuff, some of my friends were like, "Oh, do you need to do one now? You're probably better off just doing what you're doing." And I can honestly say I think it was the best decision that I made. And also, I think it was the best decision to do one later for me, because I think for where I was, I think if I'd gone straight from my undergrad and I'd started a PhD, I don't think I would have probably been the best PhD student. But coming to it later in life, when I was more infused, when I had all this experience behind me, meant that I got so much more from my PhD, and it was very successful, and it's actually helped my career here, because the work that's undertaken during my PhD has now transitioned into what I do as my job at UCB now. So it set me up really, really well.